When writing your resume, you no doubt want to create something that's visually appealing. You may want colors, charts, and even a testimonial or two. That's fantastic, and you are encouraged to create a pretty resume like that. But you need to know where you'll use that resume, referred to as your networking or visual presentation resume, and when you should use an ATS-friendly resume instead. Each has its place, and each can serve you well in your job search. All well-written resumes include the same content, regardless of the look of the document. You should always have contact information, title or headline, summary or branding statement, areas of expertise, which is your keywords, professional experience, including key accomplishments, education, and any additional information as necessary. Refer to the Basics of Resume Writing lesson to review all these components. They should be included on your ATS and networking resume. So let's talk about the differences between the two. If the basics on every resume you write are the same, what's the difference between an ATS-friendly resume and a so-called networking resume? It really comes down to formatting and looks. To comply with the requirements of ATS systems, you need to err on the side of, let's face it, boring. That means no photos, colors, lines, graphs, charts, images, tables, or even columns. All those components can confuse an ATS system, which will render your document unreadable. And an unreadable document gets rejected, meaning that you will never be in line for that opportunity. ATS-friendly resumes should always be used when applying online. On the other hand, a networking resume is a visual masterpiece. Here you can include design elements such as images, icons, colors, lines, tables, graphs, charts, and testimonials. That's because your networking resume is designed for, you guessed it, networking. When you meet someone who asks for your resume, this will be your default. Of course, most people apply for jobs online, which means you'll need to have an ATS-friendly resume. But if you want to access the hidden job market and find opportunities at every turn, it's best to not put all your eggs in one basket. The smart job seeker uses a three-tiered approach to job seeking: searching for and applying for jobs online, connecting and building relationships with people on LinkedIn, and networking in person with key decision makers and centers of influence. It's for those last 2 points that a networking resume really comes in handy. By using a format that works best for your unique situation, you can put a focus on what markets you instead of having to fit into the pre-approved ATS mold. We suggest writing your resume for ATS systems first, since most of the time you'll be applying for positions online. Once you have that content nailed down, you can start incorporating design elements. If you need inspiration, take a look at some of our samples. As opposed to your ATS resume, you're welcome to break all the rules. Some additions you may want to consider adding to your more visually appealing resume include images. A logo, monogram, or other image that draws attention to your career goal can be an eye-catcher for some professionals. You can also use logos for the companies where you've worked. Many job seekers will make their contact information pop with icons for email, phone, and LinkedIn. Always use colors sparingly, but consider it for a page border, headers, tables, and charts. Varying fonts. As with colors, go simple here. Try one font for your name, one for headers, and another for the body of the content. Stick to no more than 2 or 3 different fonts and be sure they coordinate. Tables, graphs, and charts. These elements can be a game changer for someone in sales, for instance. Do you have excellent returns at a previous role? Create a chart to illustrate them. You can also use these to highlight your skills and talents. 1 or 2 succinct and excellent testimonials will capture a reader while pointing out how others think of you. Usually, a resume is all about what you think of yourself, but when you can add a living reference, that's huge. Do you have a favorite quote or a way you present yourself in the world? A simple saying can say much more than a full paragraph when chosen well. Keep in mind that you should never put your picture on a resume that you're sending cold, as it could kick you out of the running before they ever have a chance to consider you. However, if you've met the person face to face and and are asked for a resume, it shouldn't be a negative. But there's a reason it's the last entry in this list. Add your picture with caution. Truly, the sky's the limit when it comes to what you can share on your networking resume. Since your default should always be an ATS-friendly resume, do you even need to have a networking resume? Simply put, no. Can it help? Perhaps. Some people just like to have a fancier presentation than simple black print on white paper, and that's where you might want to create something nicer. If you are at a networking event, whether that is a business meeting, happy hour, or just a social event, and someone asks for you to send them your resume, a networking resume is a great option. Email it as a PDF shortly after your meeting, and put your highlights or simple cover letter in the body of your email. In using LinkedIn, you will probably apply to jobs through the site or to positions you find there. For those, use your ATS-friendly resume. But if you've started a conversation with someone and want to send them your qualifications, your visual resume is a good option. Also, once you apply to a position, whether on LinkedIn or elsewhere, and conduct your research to find the key decision makers at the company, you can start a conversation with them by sending your networking resume. In this case, since you are applying for a role, do not include your picture on this version of your networking resume, if you have it on there to begin with. Preparing for an interview means that you're doing a lot of research on the company and interviewers. You're also creating information to share with the interviewing committee. One of the things you can share ahead of time or at the start of the meeting is your visual resume. This offers you the opportunity to elevate your presentation from the ATS-friendly resume they already have to something that showcases you and your personality. As a job seeker, you'll have many tools in your toolbox. Naturally, one will be your resume, but you can up your game with 2 different resumes, one you use for applying online and one to send directly. Your networking resume can be used when following up with people you've met in person, to send to people directly via LinkedIn or email, at interviews. Add your personality and a little flair to differentiate yourself from the pack. And always save and send this more visual approach as a PDF, which maintains its look when you send it.